Fraxis ate the bread slowly while Doyen and Minho waited. The dragon's claws, so sharp and dangerous looking, handled the food with surprising gentleness. When he finished, he drank half the water and then spoke. "The ships I destroyed were not Council military vessels," Fraxis began. "They wore Council colors, yes. They flew Council flags. But they were pirates, privateers. They attacked a civilian transport carrying refugees from the Outer Rim." "How did you know they were pirates?" Doyen asked. "Because I watched them for 3 days before they attacked. I saw them strip their official markings at night and replace them before dawn. I heard their communications. They were hired by someone in the Council to eliminate witnesses. The refugees had seen something they weren't supposed to see." "What did they see?" Fraxis shook his great head. "I don't know. The refugees never survived long enough to tell me. By the time I reached the transport, it was already dying. Atmosphere venting, life support failing. I managed to save 47 people. Children, mostly. I took them to the nearest station. And then the Council announced that I had attacked their ships, that I had murdered their brave soldiers. They placed a bounty on me so large that every hunter in 3 sectors came looking." Minho frowned. "But the people you saved. Couldn't they tell the truth?" Fraxis's golden eyes dimmed. "The station where I left them was raided 2 days later. Everyone there was killed. Officially, it was a pirate attack. But I know the truth. The Council couldn't let witnesses survive." "That's insane," Doyen said. "The Galactic Council is supposed to maintain peace. They're supposed to protect people." "They maintain order," Fraxis corrected. "Order and peace are not the same thing. The Council wants control. Anyone who threatens that control must be eliminated. And you threatened them. My entire species threatened them." Fraxis shifted, wincing in pain. "The Talon Lords were old when your species was still learning to make fire. We kept peace in the galaxy for millennia. But our idea of peace was different from the Council's. We protected the weak. We stopped oppressors. We made powerful people uncomfortable. So they killed you all? Not all at once. That would have been too obvious. They did it slowly, carefully. They turned other species against us. They spread rumors of our violence, our danger. They made everyone afraid. And when we were few enough, weak enough, they struck. Most of my kind died in a single night. A coordinated attack across 100 worlds. Poison weapons designed specifically to kill us." Minho felt sick. "How many survived?" "I don't know. A handful, maybe. We've been in hiding for 300 years. Unable to trust anyone. Unable to stop running." Fraxis looked at Minho. "That's why your kindness surprised me so much, young one. It's been a very long time since anyone looked at me with anything other than fear or greed." "The poison," Doyen said. "Is that what's killing you now?" "Yes, a hunter wounded me 6 months ago. The poison is slow but effective. It uses our own regeneration against us. Every time my body tries to heal, the poison spreads further. I came to this colony because I heard humans were different. I heard they valued mercy. I wanted to see if it was true before I died." "And?" Doyen asked. Fraxis looked at Minho. "Your son gave me bread. So yes, it appears to be true." They sat in silence for a moment. Then Doyen stood up. "Come with us." "What?" "Come with us. To the bakery. We have a storage cellar beneath the building. It's old, built before the colony. Deep enough that their scanners might not find you. You can hide there. You would risk your family for a dying dragon? You're not just a dragon. You're someone who saved children when you could have run. You're someone who asked for bread instead of taking it." "Yes, we'll risk it." Fraxis stared at the human. "Why?" "Because it's the right thing to do." The dragon made a sound that might have been a laugh or a sob. Such simple words. Such dangerous words, and will you come? Fraxis was quiet for a long moment. Then he nodded. "Yes, though I think you're all insane." They moved quickly, using the back alleys and shadows. Fraxis was weak, but he could still move silently when needed. The colony streets were empty. Most people were afraid to go out after dark with the bounty hunters patrolling. At the bakery, Jiwoo was pacing. When she saw them enter with the dragon, she went pale. "Father, what have you done?" "What I had to," Doyen said. He led them to the back room, moved aside some heavy sacks of flour, and revealed a trapdoor in the floor. The previous owner was a smuggler. He built this cellar to hide contraband. The colony authorities don't know about it. The cellar was large, dusty, and dark, but it was dry and hidden. Fraxis climbed down carefully, his wings scraping against the narrow entrance. Once inside, he could almost stand upright. Almost. "It's not much," Doyen said. It's more than I've had in months, Vraxis replied. Thank you. Over the next 3 days, they fell into a routine. Minho would wake early, help his father with the baking, and then sneak food and water down to the cellar during quiet moments. Jiwoo, despite her fears, used her medical knowledge to examine Vraxis's wounds. The poison was getting worse. His scales were losing their color. His breathing was becoming more labored. I don't know how to help him, Jiwoo admitted to Minho on the third night. They were in the cellar watching Vraxis sleep. The poison is like nothing I've ever seen. It's not biological or chemical. It's something else. Something designed. There has to be a cure. If there is, only the people who made the poison would know it. Minho sat beside the sleeping dragon. In the past 3 days, Vraxis had told them stories. Stories of the old galaxy. Before the council. Stories of the Talon Lords who flew between stars and kept peace through strength, tempered with wisdom. Stories of a time when being powerful meant protecting others, not dominating them. He's teaching me, Minho said quietly. About honor. About what it means to be strong. He's dying, Jiwoo said. I know, but maybe that's why his lessons matter more. Outside the cellar, life in the colony was getting harder. The bounty hunters were becoming more aggressive. They had started threatening people, destroying property, demanding information. The colony administrator, a woman named Hyejin, tried to maintain order, but she had no real power against the hunters. On the 4th day, something changed. Minho was serving a customer when he saw Hyejin walking past the shop. She glanced at the window and her eyes met Minho's. Then she looked away, but not before Minho saw the suspicion there. She knew, or at least she suspected. That night, Minho told his father, "We need to be more careful," Doyen said, "or we need to make a decision." "What kind of decision?" "Whether we keep hiding Vraxis or whether we turn him over." "Father, we can't." "I'm not saying we should. I'm saying we need to think about it." "Your sister is right. This is dangerous. If they find him here, they'll execute all of us. Is one dragon worth our lives?" Minho didn't answer immediately. He thought about Vraxis, about the stories, about the way the dragon had looked when Minho first gave him bread. Like someone who had forgotten what kindness felt like. "Yes," Minho said finally. "He's worth it." Doyen smiled sadly. "Your mother would have said the same thing." They went down to the cellar together. Vraxis was awake, his golden eyes dim with pain. "I'm getting worse," the dragon said. "I can feel it. Another week, maybe less." "We'll find a way to help you," Minho said. "There is no way, young one. I've accepted this." "I haven't." Vraxis tilted his great head, studying the boy. "You have your father's stubbornness. And something else. Something that's uniquely human, I think. Hope. Even when hope is foolish. Hope isn't foolish. Then you're braver than I am." Vraxis settled his head on his claws. "Thank you, Minho, for the bread, for the kindness, for reminding me that not everyone in this galaxy has forgotten mercy. Don't talk like you're already dead." "But I am. I've been dead for 300 years. I just didn't stop moving." The dragon closed his eyes. "At least now I can rest. And I can die knowing that I was wrong. Not all species are cruel. Not all power is corrupt. There are still good people in the galaxy. Like you. Like your family." Minho felt tears on his face. "We won't let you die." "Some things are beyond your control, brave little human," but Minho shook his head. He thought about the stories Vraxis had told him. About the Talon Lords who refused to give up, who fought for what was right even when the odds were impossible. About strength and honor and sacrifice. "You taught me that strength means protecting others," Minho said. "Even when it's hard. Even when it's dangerous. Well, you protected those refugees. You saved children. Now it's my turn to protect you." Vraxis opened one eye. "And how will you do that?" "I don't know yet, but I'll find a way." The dragon made that sound again, the one that was half laugh and half sob. "Humans, you're all insane." "Maybe," Minho said. "But we're your kind of insane." For the first time since they'd met, Vraxis smiled. It was a frightening expression on a dragon's face, all teeth and fire. But it was genuine. "Yes," Vraxis said softly. "You are." That night, Minho lay awake in his bed thinking. There had to be a cure. There had to be some way to help. The council had made the poison. That meant someone knew how to stop it. He thought about the bounty hunters, about the ships in orbit, about the council's vast power. He thought about his small family, their tiny bakery, their impossible situation. And he thought about bread. Simple bread that had started Morning came too quickly. Minho woke in his own bed, weak but alive. Jiwoo had insisted he rest upstairs while she monitored Vraxis in the cellar. When Minho finally made his way downstairs, moving slowly, he found his father already awake and baking. "How is he?" Minho asked. "Stronger. Much stronger. Jiwoo says the poison is almost completely gone from his system." Doyun didn't look up from the dough he was kneading. "But we have a bigger problem. The scanners. They arrived an hour ago. The bounty hunters are setting them up at the north end of the colony. They'll sweep south, building by building. They'll be here by afternoon." Minho felt his heart sink. They had saved Vraxis, only to have him discovered anyway. Jiwoo came up from the cellar, looking exhausted. "He wants to talk to all of us." They went down together. Vraxis was standing. Actually standing, not hunched or weak. His scales shimmered with their original colors. His wings, though still folded, looked strong. His eyes burned bright. "You saved my life," Vraxis said. "Now I need to save yours." "What do you mean?" Doyun asked. "The scanners will find me. When they do, they'll kill everyone in this building. The only way to protect you is for me to leave. To draw them away." "You're still weak," Jiwoo protested. "You need more time to recover fully. I'm strong enough to fly, strong enough to fight if I must, and I won't let this family die for me." "We didn't save you just to watch you throw your life away," Minho said. Vraxis smiled that frightening, tooth-filled smile. "I'm not throwing my life away. I'm taking it back. For 300 years I've been running, hiding, surviving. But you showed me something, young Minho. You showed me that there are still things worth fighting for, still people worth protecting. So what will you do?" Doyun asked. "I'm going to surrender." They all started talking at once, protesting, but Vraxis held up a claw for silence. "Let me finish. I'm going to surrender, but on my terms. Not as a criminal begging for mercy, as a Talon Lord demanding justice. I'm going to force them to give me a real trial. A public trial, where the truth can come out." "They'll never agree to that," Jiwoo said. "They will if I give them no other choice." Vraxis looked at each of them. "But I need your help. I need evidence. I need witnesses. I need the galaxy to see what really happened." Minho understood. "You need us to record everything." "Yes, and more than that. I need you to be brave one more time. I need you to stand with me when I face them." "Of course we will," Minho said immediately. Doyun put a hand on his son's shoulder. "This is dangerous. More dangerous than hiding him. I know, but we can't stop now." Doyun looked at his children, then at the dragon who had become part of their lives. He sighed. "Your mother would definitely have done this, and probably gotten us all killed in the process." He smiled sadly. "All right. We're with you." They spent the next few hours preparing. Jiwoo recorded everything Vraxis told them about the refugee ship, the privateers, the council's corruption. Suho helped gather evidence from public records, finding inconsistencies in the official story. Doyun contacted other colonists, people who had also grown suspicious of the bounty hunters' aggression. At noon, they heard the scanners approaching. The heavy machines rumbled through the streets, their operators calling for people to evacuate buildings before scanning began. The bounty hunters were taking no chances. "It's time," Vraxis said. They went upstairs. The bounty hunters were 3 buildings away, moving methodically. A crowd had gathered, colonists watching nervously as their homes were invaded. Vraxis walked out the front door of the bakery. He didn't hide or crouch. He stood at his full height, wings spreading wide for the first time since Minho had met him. They were enormous, blocking out the sun. His scales blazed with color. His eyes burned like golden suns. The crowd screamed. People ran. The bounty hunters turned, weapons raised. "I am Vraxis, Talon Lord of the Third Flight," the dragon announced. His voice carried across the colony, deep and powerful. "And I surrender myself to you. But not as a criminal. As a free being demanding justice." The bounty hunter's commander, the reptilian soldier who had searched the bakery days before, stepped forward. His weapon was pointed at Vraxis's head. "You're surrounded. You have no demands to make, don't I?" Vraxis gestured with one claw. "This colony is full of civilians. Your scanners will take hours to search every building, but I'm here now. You can take me peacefully, or you can attack me and I'll defend myself. How many of these innocent people will die in the crossfire?" The commander's eyes narrowed. "You're bluffing. You wouldn't hurt civilians." "I wouldn't, but you would. That's the difference between us." Minho stepped forward, his legs shaking but his voice steady. "I'm Minho." This dragon has been in my family's cellar for a week. We hid him. We fed him. We healed him, and we did it because he's innocent. Jiwoo stepped up beside her brother. I'm a medical technician. I have evidence that the poison used on Vraxis was created by the Council. It's a weapon of genocide banned by every treaty in the galaxy. Doyen joined them. I'm a baker, and I'm telling you that this dragon asked my son for bread. Not demanded. Not threatened. Asked. That's not the behavior of a monster. That's the behavior of someone who's been hurt and alone for too long. Other colonists stepped forward. Suho and his family. The doctor from the medical center. Captain Yuna, the colony's defense commander in full uniform. I won't allow you to execute anyone without a proper trial, Yuna said. Not in my colony. The bounty hunter's commander looked at the growing crowd. More colonists were emerging from buildings, standing with the humans who were defending a dragon. He spoke into his communicator, calling for instructions. While they waited, a new ship descended from orbit. Larger than the bounty hunter vessels. More official. It landed in the colony square and a figure emerged. The figure was tall and thin, with gray skin and too many joints in its limbs. It wore robes that marked it as a council official. A high-ranking one. I am Inquisitor Than, the figure announced. I speak with the full authority of the Galactic Council. This dragon is wanted for crimes against the Council. He will be taken into custody immediately. For trial? Vraxis asked. For execution? Then the Council admits it doesn't care about justice, only control. The Council maintains order. You threaten that order. I defend the weak. I speak truth to power. If that's a threat to your order, then your order is wrong. Than's expression didn't change. You will be taken. These colonists who harbored you will be arrested. This is not negotiable. Minho felt fear crawl up his spine. This was it. They had tried, but the Council was too powerful. Too ruthless. Then Vraxis did something unexpected. He laughed. It was a sound like thunder rolling across the colony. You're too late, Inquisitor. We've already transmitted everything. The truth about the refugees. The privateers in Council colors. The illegal poison. The genocide of my people. It's all been sent to every news network in the galaxy. Every independent station. Every colony and planet that might care about the truth. Than's composure cracked. That's impossible. We've been jamming all transmissions. You've been jamming official channels, Jiwoo said, holding up her data pad. But the colony has old smuggler equipment. Hard to detect. And Suho's father used to be a communications engineer. He knows how to bounce signals off relay stations you don't monitor. Suho's father stepped forward, looking terrified but determined. It's done. The message went out 20 minutes ago. You can't stop it now. Than turned to his soldiers. Find them. Find everyone who helped transmit that message. Arrest them all. On what charge? Captain Yuna asked. Telling the truth isn't a crime. Aiding a criminal is. But you haven't proven he's a criminal. You've just declared it. That's not how justice works. The crowd murmured in agreement. More colonists joined the growing circle around Vraxis and the humans protecting him. The bounty hunters raised their weapons, but they were outnumbered now. Not in firepower, but in sheer numbers of people willing to stand against them. You're making a mistake, Than said coldly. The Council doesn't forget. The Council doesn't forgive. Then maybe the Council needs to change, Doyen said quietly. Because we're not backing down. Vraxis stepped forward, his massive form towering over everyone. You have a choice, Inquisitor. You can attack us here, kill innocent civilians, and prove everything I've said about the Council's corruption. Or you can agree to a neutral trial. Let the galaxy see the evidence. Let them judge. The Council doesn't bargain with criminals. Then the Council is afraid of the truth. Than stared at Vraxis for a long moment. Around them, the crowd was growing larger. Someone had started recording the confrontation. Others were transmitting it. The whole galaxy was watching now. Finally, Than spoke. The Council will agree to a trial. But not here. On a neutral station. With neutral judges. And these humans, they will testify. Under protection, they will not be harmed. You have my word. The word of the Council, Vraxis said. Forgive me if I don't find that reassuring. It's all you're going to get. Vraxis looked at Minho. The dragon's golden eyes were questioning. Minho nodded. They had pushed as far as they could. This was a victory, even if it didn't feel complete. I accept, Vraxis said. But I have one condition. If the trial finds me innocent, the Council will ban the poison used on my kind. And any On the fifth morning, Minho's best friend Suho came to the bakery. Suho lived 3 streets over and usually stopped by before school, but today he looked worried. "They're bringing in new equipment," Suho said quietly, glancing around to make sure no one else heard. "Big scanners. The kind that can see through walls. Through ground. They're going to search every building again, but this time nothing can hide." Minho felt his stomach drop. "When?" "Tomorrow. Maybe the day after. The bounty hunters are getting desperate. Their commander says the dragon has to be here. This is the last colony before empty space. If it's not here, it got away and they lose the bounty." After Suho left, Minho told his father. Doyun closed his eyes and took a deep breath. "Then we're out of time," he said. They told Jiwoo and went down to the cellar together. Vraxis was worse. His scales, which had been so beautiful when Minho first saw them, were now gray and dull. His breathing rattled. His golden eyes were cloudy. "Tomorrow they'll find me," Vraxis said. He didn't sound afraid, just tired. "You should leave. Take your family and go before they connect you to me." "We're not leaving," Doyun said. "Then you're fools." "Probably," Jiwoo admitted. She knelt beside the dragon, checking his pulse. It was weak and irregular. "But we're stubborn fools." She looked at her father and brother. "I've been thinking. The poison is killing him slowly because it's using his own healing against him. But what if we could stop that process? What if we could neutralize the poison?" "How?" Minho asked. "I don't know. I'd need to study it, understand how it works." She looked at Vraxis. "I need a sample of your blood." The dragon extended one massive claw. "Take what you need." Jiwoo worked quickly, drawing blood into a container she'd brought from the medical center. The blood was strange, darker than human blood, and it seemed to shimmer even in the dim light. "I'll take this to the lab," she said. "Tell them I'm studying local wildlife. Maybe I can find something." She left, and Minho sat with Vraxis while his father returned upstairs to mind the shop. The dragon was quiet for a long time. Then he spoke. "Tell me about your mother," Vraxis said. Minho was surprised. "My mother? Your father and sister both mentioned her, but you haven't. I'm curious." Minho was quiet for a moment. "She died 4 years ago. Illness. We couldn't afford the treatment on Earth, and by the time we got here, it was too late." "I'm sorry." "She would have liked you," Minho said. "She always helped people who needed it. Even when we didn't have much. Even when it was dangerous. She said that being human meant caring about others, even strangers. She sounds wise." She was. "She told me once that the measure of a person isn't their strength or their wealth. It's what they do when someone asks for help and no one is watching." Vraxis made a soft sound. "No one was watching when you gave me bread." "I know. You could have walked away. Should have walked away. But I didn't. No, you didn't." Vraxis closed his eyes. "Your mother raised you well." They sat in comfortable silence. Then Vraxis began to tell another story. This one was about the last time all the Talon Lords had gathered together, 300 years ago, just before the massacre. They had met on a moon made entirely of crystal, under 3 suns. They had sung songs that shook the ground and made the crystal sing with them. They had celebrated peace and strength and hope. "We thought we were untouchable," Vraxis said. "We had forgotten that even the strongest can fall if everyone else wants them to fall." "They were afraid of you," Minho said. "Yes, and fear makes people cruel." Hours passed. Jiwoo returned in the afternoon, her face flushed with excitement. "I found something," she said, pulling out her data pad. "The poison is incredibly complex. It's not really a poison at all. It's more like a program. It rewrites the dragon's cells, turns the healing process into a destructive one." "Can you stop it?" Doyun asked. "Maybe. But here's the strange part. I compared the poison structure to our genetic database, and there's something in human DNA that could neutralize it." Everyone stared at her. "What?" Minho asked. "There's a protein sequence in human blood that breaks down the poison's programming. It's like we have a natural antidote." "It's such a strange coincidence that I ran the test 3 times to make sure. Why would humans have an antidote to a poison designed to kill dragons?" Doyun asked. Jiwoo shook her head. "I have no idea. Maybe it's random chance. Maybe it's something in our evolution. But it's real. I verified it. So what do we do?" Minho asked. "We need a transfusion. We need to introduce human blood into his system. The proteins should attack the poison and break it down, but..." She hesitated. "But what?" "It's risky." The donor would need to give a lot of blood. Maybe too much, and we'd need to connect their circulatory systems for several hours. If something goes wrong, both of them could die. Vraxis raised his head. No, absolutely not. I won't let you risk a human life for mine. It might be the only way, Jiwoo said. Then I'll die. I've lived long enough. I'll do it, Minho said. Everyone turned to look at him. No, Doyun said immediately. Absolutely not. Father, it has to be me. I'm the youngest. My blood is the strongest. You're a child. I'm 14. I'm old enough to make my own choices. Minho, no, Vraxis said. His voice was firm despite his weakness. I forbid it. You can't forbid me from helping you. I can and I will. I am thousands of years old. I've seen civilizations rise and fall. I've fought in wars that reshaped the galaxy. I will not let a human child die for me. And I won't let you die when I can save you, Minho shot back. You taught me about honor, about protecting others. Well, this is me protecting you. It's not the same. Yes, it is. They argued for an hour. Vraxis refused. Doyun refused. Even Jiwoo was uncertain. But Minho wouldn't back down. He had made up his mind. You asked me why I gave you bread, Minho said finally. You asked why a human would help a monster. It's because you're not a monster. You're someone who saved children when you could have run. You're someone who's been alone for 300 years. You're someone who deserves to live. And what if you die? Vraxis asked quietly. Then I die helping someone who needed help. My mother would be proud of that. The dragon stared at him for a long moment. Then he looked at Doyun. Your son is incredibly brave. And incredibly stubborn, Doyun said. His voice was thick with emotion. If we do this, Jiwoo said, we need to do it tonight. The scanners arrive tomorrow. We won't have another chance. And if it doesn't work, Doyun asked, then Vraxis dies anyway. And Minho? She couldn't finish the sentence. They talked for hours more. They discussed the risks, the procedure, the chances of success. Jiwoo estimated a 60% chance that both of them would survive. A 30% chance that only one would survive. A 10% chance that both would die. Those are terrible odds, Doyun said. They're better than the alternative, Minho replied. As evening fell, Jiwoo prepared her equipment. She had smuggled medical supplies from the center, enough to perform the transfusion. She sterilized everything she could. She checked and rechecked her calculations. Suho arrived just before they were about to start. He had heard from Jiwoo what was happening and insisted on being there. In case you need another donor, he said, or another set of hands. Minho looked at his friend. You don't have to be part of this, I know, but I want to be. You're my best friend, and honestly, this is the most important thing happening in the galaxy right now, and I'm not missing it. Despite everything, Minho smiled. They went down to the cellar. Vraxis was lying on his side, barely conscious. Jiwoo set up her equipment, connecting tubes and monitors. She had Minho lie down next to the dragon. Are you sure? She asked him one last time. I'm sure. She inserted the needles. Minho felt a sharp pain, and then a strange warmth as his blood began to flow through the tubes, through a filter Jiwoo had rigged. Into Vraxis the dragon's eyes opened. They glowed brighter than they had in days. I can feel it, Vraxis whispered. Your life, your strength. It's incredible. Just stay still, Jiwoo instructed. Both of you. This is going to take a while. Hours passed. Minho felt weak, dizzy, but he stayed conscious. He focused on Vraxis, on the rise and fall of the dragon's breathing, on the way color was slowly returning to the scales. Vraxis began to speak. At first, Minho thought the dragon was delirious, but then he realized Vraxis was sharing something. Memories. Actual memories flowing through their connected blood. Minho saw things he couldn't describe. Vraxis's hatching thousands of years ago under the light of a blue sun. The feeling of first flight, wings catching the wind. The weight of responsibility when Vraxis became a Talon Lord. The joy of keeping peace. The horror of the massacre. The centuries of loneliness and running and survival. And Vraxis saw Minho's memories too. A small life, but full of love. A mother's kindness. A father's quiet strength. A sister's fierce protection. The simple joy of baking bread. The warmth of home. When they finally separated, both were changed. Minho understood what it meant to be ancient and alone. Vraxis understood what it meant to be young and hopeful. Did it work? Doyun asked. Jiwoo checked her monitors. Her eyes widened. It's working. The poison is breaking down. His vital signs are stabilizing. Vraxis took a deep breath. It didn't rattle. His eyes glowed bright and golden again. Color rippled across his scales. I can feel it dying, he said. The poison. It's really dying. The next morning started like any other. Minho woke before dawn to help his father prepare the day's dough. His father, Doyen, was already in the kitchen when Minho arrived, his hands covered in flour. You're late, Doyen said, but there was no anger in his voice, just the usual morning gruffness. Sorry, father. They worked in comfortable silence the way they did every morning. Minho's mind kept wandering to the alley, to the creature with golden eyes. He wanted to tell his father, but something stopped him. The creature's words echoed in his head. If they know you helped me, they'll hurt you too. Minho, are you listening? Minho blinked. His father was staring at him. The bread from yesterday. What happened to the 6 loaves on the counter? Minho's heart raced. He had known this question was coming. I gave them away. Doyen's eyebrows rose. Gave them away to whom? Someone who was hungry. His father studied him for a long moment. Then he sighed. Your mother had the same soft heart. Always feeding strays? He turned back to the dough. Next time, ask me first. But I understand. Relief flooded through Minho. His father understood. Of course he did. They had been refugees once, fleeing Earth with nothing. Others had helped them. His father wouldn't forget that. The morning passed quickly. Customers came and went. Minho served them with a smile, but part of his attention was always on the front windows, watching the street. Something felt wrong. There were more ships in the sky than usual. Large ships. Military ships. Around midday, his sister Jiwoo burst through the door. She worked at the colony's medical center, and she should have been on shift. Her face was pale. There are warships in orbit, she said breathlessly. Dozens of them. Doyen came out from the back room. What kind of warships? Bounty hunters. A whole fleet. Jiwoo grabbed a cup of water from the counter and drank it in one gulp. They're searching for something, someone. Minho's blood ran cold. The creature. They were looking for the creature. They've set up checkpoints all over the colony, Jiwoo continued. They're searching every building. They say they're hunting a criminal. The most dangerous one in 3 sectors. Doyen frowned. What kind of criminal? Before Jiwoo could answer, the shop's door opened again. This time, a group of armed soldiers entered. They weren't human. The leader was tall and reptilian, with green scales and cold yellow eyes. Not like the creature from last night. These scales were dull and practical. There was no beauty in them. This establishment is being searched, the leader announced. His galactic common was perfect, clipped, and military. Stand aside. What are you looking for? Doyen asked calmly. That's classified. The soldiers spread out, checking the storage room, the kitchen, even the small bathroom in the back. Minho held his breath. Had the creature left any sign in the alley? Could they trace it here? After several tense minutes, the soldiers regrouped. Clear, one of them reported. The leader stared at Doyen, then at Jiwoo, then at Minho. His gaze lingered on Minho. Have any of you seen anything unusual? Any strangers? Any large creatures? No, Doyen said firmly. Nothing unusual. The leader's eyes narrowed. If you're lying, the penalty is severe. Harboring a criminal of this magnitude is punishable by execution. Minho felt his sister's hand grab his arm, squeezing tight. We've seen nothing, Doyen repeated. The soldiers left, but their leader paused at the door. The criminal we're hunting is called Vraxis. He's a Talon Lord, a dragon. If you see anything, report it immediately. The reward is substantial, enough to buy this entire colony several times over. Then they were gone. The 3 of them stood in silence for a moment. A dragon, Jiwoo whispered. They're hunting a dragon. I thought they were all dead. Apparently not, Doyen said quietly. He looked at Minho. Son, do you have something to tell me? Minho wanted to lie. He wanted to protect his family, but his father's eyes were too knowing. There was someone in the alley last night, Minho admitted. Something. I gave them the leftover bread, Jiwoo gasped. Minho, no. Please tell me you didn't. Was it the dragon? Doyen asked. Minho nodded. His father closed his eyes. For a moment he looked very old, very tired. Then he opened them again. Did it hurt you? No, it was starving. And it asked for bread. It didn't demand or threaten. It just asked. And you helped it. Doyen's voice was impossible to read. I'm sorry. Don't apologize for showing mercy. Doyun walked to the window and looked out at the street. But now we have a problem. If they find out, they'll kill us, all of us. Then we don't tell them, Jiwoo said. Minho gave away some bread. That's all. It's done. The creature is gone. Let it stay gone. But Minho knew it wasn't that simple. I told it I would bring more bread tonight. Jiwoo turned to him, her eyes wide. You what? It was dying. I could see it. And I said I would come back. Then you'll break that promise, Jiwoo said firmly. Minho, I know you want to help, but this is too dangerous. That creature destroyed an entire battle fleet. Do you understand what that means? It killed thousands of soldiers. But why? Minho asked. Why did it attack them? Did anyone ask? Does it matter? Yes. Minho surprised himself with the strength in his voice. It matters. We don't even know the whole story. We're just believing what those soldiers told us. Doyun turned from the window. Your brother makes a good point. Father, you can't be serious. We were refugees once, Doyun said softly. Remember? When we left Earth, we were called criminals too. Harboring illegals, they said. Helping enemies of the state. But we were just helping hungry people. People who needed shelter. That was different, was it? Doyun looked at his children. I'm not saying we should hide a murderer. But I am saying we should learn the truth before we condemn someone. Or something. So what do we do? Jiwoo asked. Tonight I'll go to the alley with Minho, Doyun said. We'll talk to this creature. This Vraxis. We'll hear his side of the story. And then we'll decide. And if it kills you both, then it kills us both. Doyun smiled sadly. But I don't think it will. Something that begs for bread instead of taking it by force doesn't sound like a mindless killer to me. The rest of the day crawled by. More soldiers patrolled the streets. Minho heard rumors in the market. The dragon had destroyed 12 ships single-handedly. The dragon had raised an entire planet. The dragon could breathe fire that melted steel. Each story was more terrifying than the last, but Minho remembered the creature's voice, the way it had thanked him, the way it had eaten the bread slowly, savoring each bite like it was precious. When evening came, Minho and his father prepared a bag with 2 full loaves of bread, some dried fruit, and a large bottle of water. Jiwoo watched them, her face tight with worry. If you're not back in an hour, I'm calling the authorities, she said. If we're not back in an hour, we're probably dead, Doyun replied. But thank you. They walked to the alley as the sun set. The market was empty now. Everyone was staying inside, afraid of the patrols and the stories of the deadly dragon. The alley was dark, empty. Minho felt disappointment wash over him. The creature wasn't here. It had moved on, or maybe it was already dead. Then a shadow detached from the wall. No, not a shadow. The creature itself, its scales shifting colors to match the darkness around it. Camouflage. You came back, Vraxis said. His voice was stronger tonight, but still rough with pain. I promised, Minho said. The dragon's golden eyes shifted to Doyun. You brought your father. Brave or foolish? I still can't decide which, both, Doyun said. He held up the bag. We brought food. And questions. Questions are dangerous. So is ignorance. Vraxis studied the older man. Then slowly, painfully, he settled down against the wall. Ask your questions, Baker. But know that the truth may put you in more danger than you already are. Doyun sat down on an overturned crate. Minho sat beside him. And in a dark alley on a frontier colony world, a human baker and a dying dragon began to talk. The truth, Minho would learn, was very different from the stories. The evening air on New Hanseong smelled like rain and fresh bread. Minho swept the floor of his family's bakery, pushing crumbs toward the back door. His arms ached from kneading dough all day, but he didn't mind. The bakery was small, but it was theirs. His father had built it with his own hands when they first arrived on this colony world 5 years ago. Minho was 14 now, old enough to close the shop by himself. His father trusted him with the keys, and his sister Jiwoo had already gone home for the night. The market district was quiet. Most shops had closed an hour ago. Only the distant hum of transport ships landing at the spaceport broke the silence. He carried the day's leftover bread to the counter. 6 loaves that hadn't sold. His father would be disappointed, but Minho knew they couldn't throw the bread away. Food was expensive on colony worlds. Everything had to be shipped from off-world or grown in the limited farmland outside the settlement. As Minho locked the front door, He heard something. A sound like scraping metal came from the alley beside the bakery. He froze, key still in the lock. The colony was safe, mostly. But there were stories. Stories about pirates who raided frontier settlements. Stories about alien creatures that wandered in from the wilderness beyond the colony walls. He should go home. That's what his father would tell him. Lock up and go straight home. Don't investigate strange sounds in dark alleys. But Minho had always been curious. Too curious, his sister said. He walked to the corner of the building and peered into the alley. At first, he saw nothing. Just shadows in the large waste containers they shared with the shop next door. Then something moved. Something big. A figure sat hunched against the wall, covered in what looked like torn cloth and rags. But even in the dim light from the street lamp, Minho could see that this was no human beggar. The figure was too large, too wide, and where the rags fell away, he saw scales. Scales that gleamed with colors that shouldn't exist together. Blues and purples and greens that seemed to shift and change. The creature's breathing was rough and uneven. It shook like someone who had been cold for too long. Minho should run. Every instinct screamed at him to run. Instead, he took a step forward. "Hello?" he said softly. The figure's head jerked up. Two eyes opened and they glowed. Not like a flashlight or a screen. They glowed from within, like fire burning behind colored glass, golden eyes that seemed older than anything Minho had ever seen. "Go away, child," the creature said. Its voice was deep and rough like rocks grinding together. It spoke Galactic Common, the language everyone in space used, but the words came slowly as if it hurt to speak. "Are you hurt?" Minho asked. He didn't run. He couldn't explain why, but something told him this creature wouldn't harm him. "I said go away." The creature tried to sound threatening, but it just sounded tired, exhausted beyond measure. "Do you need help?" "No one can help me." The creature coughed, and Minho saw flashes of sharp teeth. "Unless you have food. Bread, if you have it. I can smell the bread from your shop." Minho looked back at the bakery. The 6 unsold loaves sat on the counter inside. His father needed to sell every loaf they made. Money was tight. They couldn't afford to give away food. But the creature was starving. Minho had seen hunger before on Earth before his family left. He knew what desperation looked like. "Wait here," he said. The creature made a sound that might have been a laugh. "I'm too weak to go anywhere else." Minho ran back inside and grabbed all 6 loaves. He also filled a container with water from their tap. When he returned to the alley, the creature hadn't moved. "Here," Minho said, kneeling down and placing the bread within reach. He kept his distance, but not because he was afraid. He just sensed that the creature needed space. The creature stared at the bread for a long moment. Then, with movements that were somehow both careful and desperate, it reached out. Its hand was massive, with long fingers that ended in claws. But those claws handled the bread gently, almost reverently. The creature ate. It didn't tear into the food like a wild animal. It ate slowly, carefully, as if each bite was precious. Minho watched, fascinated. Under the rags, he could see more scales. He could see the outline of wings folded tight against the creature's back. Wings that must have been enormous when spread. "Thank you," the creature said after finishing the first loaf. "It has been a long time since anyone showed me kindness." "What's your name?" Minho asked. "Names have power. It's better if you don't know mine." "I'm Minho. You shouldn't tell strangers your name either." "Young Minho." But there was something almost gentle in the creature's voice now. "You're not a stranger anymore. You're someone I gave bread to." The creature made that sound again, the one that might have been a laugh. Such simple logic. Is that how humans think? I guess so. The creature finished all 6 loaves and drank all the water. Some color seemed to return to its scales. The shaking stopped, at least a little. "You should go home now," the creature said. "And you should forget you saw me. Will you be here tomorrow?" "I don't know. I don't know if I'll survive the night." "What's wrong with you? Are you sick?" "Something like that." The creature shifted and Minho heard it groan in pain. "Go home, Minho. If anyone asks, you never saw anything in this alley. Do you understand? It's important." "Why?" "Because if they know you helped me, they'll hurt you too." Minho wanted to ask more questions. He wanted to understand what this creature was and why it was hiding in an alley. But he could hear the exhaustion in its voice. The pain. "I'll come back tomorrow," Minho said. "With more bread. Don't," but Minho was already walking away. At the mouth of the alley, he looked back. The creature was watching him with those glowing golden eyes. Then so fast Minho almost missed it, the creature stood, The rags fell away and Minho saw its true form. It was enormous. Even hunched and wounded, it stood twice as tall as a man. Its wings, even folded, were massive. Its scales covered it like armor. And its face, though alien, held something that looked almost like respect. "Brave little human," the creature whispered. "Or very foolish." Then it moved. Despite its injuries, despite its weakness, it moved with impossible grace. It climbed the wall of the alley using its claws, reached the roof of the 3-story building in seconds, and disappeared into the night sky. Minho stood there for a long time, staring up at the stars. Tomorrow, he would have to explain to his father why 6 loaves of bread had disappeared. Tomorrow, he would have to decide if he really had seen what he thought he saw. But tonight, he walked home with a secret burning in his chest. He had fed something magnificent, something that should have terrified him but didn't. He had fed a dragon, though he didn't know that word yet. He didn't know that he had just given bread to one of the most feared creatures in the entire galaxy. He didn't know that his simple act of kindness was about to change everything.